Somebody once told me I should make more negative reviews. My name is Michael Knipp, and this is going to be the first time I am ever doing like a discussion type video based on a comment that I've got. I don't want to blow up the specific comment exactly because I'm not intending this to be any sort of attack. I actually think it's a great springboard to explain some of the things that are going on in my head when I'm reviewing books. But somebody recently commented on a review of mine where I praised a book very highly. I had a lot of good things to say about it, and they said it was time for me to do a negative review because they felt like they'd be able to trust me as a reviewer more if I were to do a negative review. They asked if I'd done a negative review before. And I think that that is an interesting concept. Now, first, before I get into this, I want to say that BookTube is a place for everyone to do whatever the heck they want to do, right? If somebody wants to be seen as a critical reviewer, they should be able to do that. If someone wants to just have fun and they don't care about what anyone thinks, whatever, they should be able to do that too. BookTube is what you want it to be. But my kind of goal as a BookTube reviewer is when I talk about books, I want to be able to provide some kind of service to the people that are watching the videos. Most times in my videos, I try to make you laugh at least a little bit, or I try to provide like a perspective or a service to you as the viewer. If I'm doing a book review, I want to be able to bring my thoughts out from a book in a way that is useful to you. For a lot of people on BookTube, especially like newer BookTubers, smaller BookTubers that I've hung out with, sometimes there is a little bit of a pressure to not do negative reviews. There's like people that do negative reviews all the time, and you don't want to get seen as being negative. You also don't want to be seen as bashing things. But there is also just like, and this is completely fine, but I have watched BookTube videos where people talk about reviewing books, and they talk about how they would never review a book below a 3-star because they don't want to trash anything, right? That's their prerogative. But I would like to say that my perspective as a reviewer is I do want to be a little bit more critical. I try to entertain things along the way, and of course, there's different ways to critically review something. I try to bring the perspective that I think that the target audience wants to bring, as much as I can be true to myself and honest. You can see that sort of thing with the way that I may review serious adult fantasy books differently than the way that I reviewed Twilight, which is a young adult book written, for younger people. I reviewed both of those things in very different headspaces because I think that they were intended for different types of thinking, right? I think that both my perspectives on those books are honest, even though if a adult fantasy book tried to do some of the things that Twilight did, I don't think it would fly. Same as if it was a young adult book and I think that it was trying to be too heavy-handed with themes or whatever like adult fantasy book, I might hate it, right? I think that there's ways to look at different books in different places, in different headspaces. I think there's a place for critical reviewing then. And the sentiment was brought up is, if someone reviews something positive all the time, can they be trusted as a reviewer? And I think that there's many facets to what that can mean. Recently on a video about subjectivity versus objectivity, I had some people in the comments, I think it was actually multiple people in the comments, say that they find negative reviews more useful than positive reviews. And I think some of the reasons, if I'm going to psychoanalyze this, is because negative reviews, a lot of times people are much more descriptive on the things they didn't like about the book, whereas in positive reviews, sometimes it's easy to gush or emote and you don't actually explain what you mean as much. I think sometimes, and I don't want to dive into that topic again, but I think subjectivity versus objectivity, sometimes when people say they want more subjective reviews, it just means they want more useful information. They don't want just a summary of the book. They want actual reasons why you felt the way that you did. Honestly, I think I will still raise some heat and say that I think all reviews are subjective, but I think that what people mostly want when they say they want objective reviews is well thought out, well reasoned, well explained reviews, even though I think they're all subjective to some degree. That being said, there is a little bit of a point to it, because if someone makes a rant review, I think that the rant review for a book may be a lot more descriptive than a gush review. That's something that I imperfectly and definitely have screwed up in the past, I try to aim for moving forward. I want my positive reviews to have useful information, to provide a service to someone who has not read the book, or to provide a comparison for someone who has read the book. I want to be able to make videos that are useful to people, whether I am joking, happy, or angry, or sad about a book, whatever it is. I think that if someone is trying to be a critical reviewer, they need to be able to criticize negative things about a book. I have worked on independent review sites before and had frustrations with people that were afraid to write negative reviews and afraid to talk harshly about things that bothered them, because I think that it is extremely easy to play it safe and not throw spears even when you genuinely think that. I think there's a little bit of dishonesty there. And thus, I think that if someone were to just be constantly reviewing things at fairly random intervals, their average review score should be whatever part of the scale they determine to be average. And when I started reviewing books on BookTube, I actually was a little closer to that. But as my review scale averages changed, I started questioning what was going on. And I want to try to break this down. For people that think I only do positive reviews, I have done negative reviews in the past. It's not the most common thing that I've done. But here is the reason that I think my channel lately has skewed so heavily towards positive reviews. It's not that complicated. I'm just picking books I think I'm going to love. I watch a lot of BookTube. I do a lot of reading. I am older. I kind of know the things that I enjoy. And also, as I grow older and more empathetic, I enjoy more and more things. All of these factors and the fact that I am trying to catch up of years of not reading books means that I am selecting books that I almost always know from jump are going to be bangers for me. I try to pick books that I think I'm going to love. So, recently, so many of the books that I've been reading are skewing 4 and 5 stars. I don't want people to think that means that I am not a critical reviewer. I am trying to work on being better about talking about the books that I love and still present information to you in a way that isn't just gushing, while still allowing me to just gush about a book that I love or, experience those positive emotions in a video. And because of that, my review scores skew way higher than what I would consider average. I think that if I were selecting books, as I did kind of at the beginning of BookTube, much more random, with much less intentionality or me trying to just pick up different things, I think I would skew more towards the middle. The additional problem is it's very hard to talk about a middling book. So for me to decide to make a single review video about one book, because single review videos are varying in performance, for me to pick a book to do a single review video about, for it to be a 3-star, which I think is the hardest way to talk about a book, it has to be very specific, like a very popular book, or a book that I expected to either be very bad or very good. For me to talk about a 3-star book in a dedicated individual single review video is hard, which is why, especially early in the channel, if you go back and you watch the wrap-ups, I did a lot of single book reviews for books back then as well, but I either did rant reviews for ones I didn't like or more gushy reviews for things that I did like, and things that were the 3-star I just saved for the wrap-up. I've been doing most of that recently, though I will say if I'm talking about a popular book or something that may help me get spotted, I will definitely do those 3-star reviews if I think that that's something that's useful to people that are looking for that type of content. There are people that will only want to do positive reviews. There are people that will only want to do negative reviews. I want to try to look at things with a critical eye, and I also want to do it from like an honest and true perspective to me, which is to say that my tastes are weird. I'm a weird person. I like a variety of things, and the older I get, the more types of things that I like. Like, I'm expanding my horizons in a lot of ways. It doesn't mean I'm gonna like everything. I want to be honest. If I don't like a book, I want to be able to tell that to you. I want to be able to provide that service to you. I also want to try to entertain people, so I try to make videos that I think suit the things that I feel like work in the videos that I make. At this time, I just keep reading books that I love. And if I love a book, I'm going to tell you why I love it, and hopefully a way that keeps you guys happy. Because honestly, if I love these books and I just want to freaking sit in front of my phone, in front of this microphone, and talk about how much I love a book, I'm just gonna do it. I gotta do it. It's like my release. And I hope that I am honest enough with you guys and brave enough, because I do think it's scary to put the very first or very second rant review that I posted was for the book Children of Virtue and Vengeance, the sequel to Children of Blood and Bone. I was extremely nervous when I posted that rant review, because when I posted that, it was the only negative review that was on BookTube that I could find. That I searched for negative reviews and I could not find them. When that book came out, I got it fresh from the library right away, and it was all hype, all positive, I was super nervous when I put it out. Thankfully, it did well. But yeah, it is harder posting negative reviews, but I want to say I'm trying to be as honest as I can. If I come across a book and I read it and I do not like it, I want to make sure that you guys understand that I do plan on doing that as well. But I think that it is a waste of my time. I don't have enough time in the day for me to pick books, especially when I'm still playing catch up from years of not reading, that I think I'm going to dislike. I don't want to pick up a book just to hate on it. That's why I didn't pick up Twilight for so long. I want to pick up a book I think I'm going to enjoy, or a book that I think is going to be super popular, or people are going to want to see my opinion on that book. If that book disappoints me or triggers me in some weird way, I want to be honest about that too. I just want to let you guys know where I'm coming from. I've watched a lot of booktube videos. I've watched a lot of people talk about the way that they review books. What are your thoughts on how positive or negative to be? Do you think people should skew towards average? Like, if you are a channel and you make videos, what is your philosophy on being positive or negative about books? Do you pick up books that you think you won't like? Or do you only do negative reviews when you pick up a book you think you will like it and it disappoints you? What are your thoughts? I'm curious to know because I'm still so new at this. I'm still trying to form this. At the same time, I've also been reading reviews and following review culture since I was like 7 years old. I've thought about it a lot. I'm still so new at making content that people watch. It's a little self-deprecating, but it's true. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it made sense. I hope I'm not crazy. I love you all. I want to just be honest with you. If you think that a YouTube comment is not a very good way to have this discussion, hey, check out down below in the description. I have a link to my Discord server. It's free. Everyone can join. Pop in there and let's have a discussion about review, culture, theory, etc. If you would like to be so generous as to support me financially, there's also a link to my Patreon down below. I try to provide my patrons with some kind of additional added benefit. I want to do fun things for those people. As always, I appreciate it so much if you like the video, comment down below as I already said, and if you want to see more videos from me, please remember to subscribe to this channel. If you hit the bell, you'll get notified every time I post. I love you all. Thanks for watching. Bye.
No, I never get enough. Always looking out tired, sleep. No, I never get enough. If I don't show up, I might get fired. Sleep. No, I never get enough. Always looking out tired, sleep. No, I never get enough. If I don't show up, I might get fired.